hell up.
Come on, baby girl. I got you. I got you. Oh, shit.
Some people love gaming because they have a power fantasy. Some people love gaming for its flexibility when it comes to just how much there is on offer. I love gaming because of the deep stories they can tell and the characters that they can bring to life through this medium. Don't get me wrong, I love action games and shooters with one-liner badass heroes, but nothing quite hits like a well-written character in an incredibly established world. When I say well-written characters, I don't just mean any, as that term is very vague. I'll give a couple of examples. Aloy from the Horizon games is a well-written character, and that's undeniable, but there is never a doubt of her morals. She's very much the traditional hero, stopping at nothing to save humanity and end the threat that is plaguing the planet. In fact, she often deems herself the only one that is able to stop the destruction of Earth. It works well for the story and from a gameplay perspective, and she does have times of self-reflection, but it's not quite what I'm talking about. The thing I love about really well-written characters is that they often are shown in a more realistic light. Instead of being either good or evil, these characters often have some kind of moral ambiguity, much like people of the real world. The Master Chief is a great character, but he serves a simple purpose to make the player feel badass and unstoppable. Where people are more complex and often unpredictable, even though it's been proven that we are creatures of habit and routine. We may view something as wrong in a certain set of circumstances, but if your viewpoint changes and the circumstances are flipped on their head, your morals could change too. Having games and media that make you think about the character's actions is a powerful thing. TV and movies have been doing it forever. It's undeniable that you will root for a character despite their bad decisions and actions because we feel like we know them. Jax Teller from Sons of Anarchy is a great example of this. He's a good person at heart, but his actions tell a different story even if he feels an obligation to be like that for the ones he loves. Does that make him a bad person? What makes a bad person? Enter in Joel.
This isn't for me, Tommy. This is for your damn cause.
My cause is my family now. You ain't talking about some walk in the park here.
Jesus, boy. Have Maria get some of your born-again friends to do it.
They got families too.
Tommy, I need this.
Perhaps one of the most intricate characters to ever grace gaming. Since the inception of The Last of Us, many people have debated on whether or not Joel is a good person. He's a person that has had everything taken away from him and is then thrusted into an unforgiving world that lacks trust, love, and even safety. Over the course of both the first game and the show, we are able to see Joel is very much cut off from the world and the people around him. His only real prerogative is self-preservation due to the trauma that he has endured. It's through Ellie that this barrier is slowly broken down over time, allowing Ellie to see the true Joel, and that's the heart-wrenching story of The Last of Us. But it isn't until later on in the game and the show that we learn from his long-lost brother Tommy that Joel is capable of monstrous things, which Joel claims that they were necessary for their survival.
This is how you gonna repay me, huh?
Repay you.
For all those goddamn years I took care of us.
Took care. That's what you call it? I got nothing but nightmares from those years.
You survived because of me.
It wasn't worth it.
Regardless of Joel's reasoning though, there is a rift between him and his brother because of the things that Tommy had to witness, even claiming in the show that there were other ways they didn't have to kill all those people. But Joel is a very violent person, often resorting to it and feeling very little remorse for his actions. This is especially the case when the people he cares about are in danger, like Tommy in the past and Ellie when she's taken by the cannibal David. The tactics which he uses are very clearly ones that he's used plenty of times, like tying guys up and beating them to get information. This really shows that there are no limits to which he won't go in situations like these. Violence first, thinking about those actions second. But does this make Joel a bad person? In a world so harsh, it's natural for people to place all of their will to live into one thing. We see this with David's community in the show, with them turning to religion for hope. But in Joel's case, he does this with Ellie, finding a daughter in her that he never thought he would find again. A parent losing a child is an unthinkable pain, and no one should have to experience that. And Joel sure as hell isn't going to lose his purpose again over a community full of starving, human-eating people. But what if a cure was possible at the expense of Ellie's life? Yeah, you know where I'm going with this. As we all know by now, Joel quote-unquote saves Ellie from the Fireflies. In this particular situation, players are supposed to see the Fireflies as the bad guys because we feel like we know Joel. We are rooting for him, so naturally we fight for Ellie. But I'd argue that neither are in the right. The Fireflies take Ellie, put her under, and prep her for surgery without even allowing her to make a choice to give her life. There was no consent, even if this action is for the betterment of mankind. On the other hand, Joel does what he does best, violence first and thinking later. This leads to voiding the chance for a cure and the death of several people fighting to give humanity another chance. What The Last of Us does so brilliantly is ask you, the player and the viewer, to take a step back and try to understand all sides of a situation, which is the entire premise of the second game. During the game, most players are rooting for Joel, feeling no remorse for what we are doing, much like Joel, but after we're hit with this realization of the weight of our actions. Was Joel right to save Ellie, destroy the chance for a cure, and then lie about his actions to her? Joel undeniably acts in his own interest, which is inherently selfish. Does he save Ellie for Ellie's sake? No. He saves Ellie because she is his purpose now. Joel very much sees himself as a protector and thrives on this to keep him going. This is something that is explored more in the show when Joel talks about Tommy and how he always needs to save his younger brother. An argument can be made for the state of the world and if it could be fixed even with the production of a cure. Would humanity be able to come back from it when so many people have resorted to their primitive ways? Joel has seen firsthand how brutal the world is now, and maybe he thinks there is no hope for humanity. But does this give him the power to decide what's best for humanity? No. So then we return to the question, is Joel a bad person? If we look at this from an objective point of view, yes, Joel is not a good person, and maybe he never was even before the outbreak. Did the outbreak bring these traits out of him, or were they always there? We'll never know. His ever-growing bond with Ellie drove him to essentially play God and wipe out what little hope humanity had for a cure. But like I said, the brilliant thing about The Last of Us is that they ask you to step back and look at all perspectives. To you, maybe Joel is a good person. Maybe you think you would do the same thing. The series holds tremendous power, and this story will forever remain a classic. I still can't believe we got an amazing TV show from it. With that said, that brings this video to a close. Let me know what you think about this topic in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and peace out.